Welcome to the YMCA of San Francisco's Classrooms for All. My name is Ayah, and today we're learning about haikus. But first, let me take my mask off. Haikus originated in Japan. I really want us all to do some extra research on two of these very, very famous and historic Japanese writers who helped make haiku what it is today. Basho and Shiki are really important and influential historical writers, so I urge you all to do some more research so you're really aware of how important haikus are. Haikus are really easy and simple ways to express things, but their historical roots come from connecting the person who's writing the haiku with nature and with the world. So I want us to think when we're communicating a message through a haiku, how am I making sure that the message I'm communicating comes from a place of love, from a place of caring, from my place in this world? So think about those things while you're thinking about, what am I going to write my haiku about? Or why should I write a haiku? Doing some more background research and seeing some examples of cool haikus will definitely help spark some ideas. So the first line in a haiku is 5 syllables total. The second is 7 syllables total. The last is 5 syllables total, for a total of 17 within the whole haiku. I want you to think about what the first line and the second line have in common and how they can be connected versus how important the last line of a poem is. When you end a poem and you close out your poem, it should leave the person reading it with a message. So think about your first line, you only have 5 syllables. Your second line, you only have 7, which is a little bit more, but still a small amount. Your last sentence having 5 syllables, think about how I'm going to close out my poem. Planning out and looking forward throughout your poem will help you get your message across clearly. So I'm going to write an example of a haiku that I came up with. It's for someone that I love, so when I think about my message and I think about how I want to end my poem and start my poem, I'm thinking about who's going to be reading it and who this is for. So for my poem, I'm writing it to someone that I love, so my first line will be, with all my love, I. That's my beginning. That's what I'm trying to communicate. With all my love, I. So I'm telling the person who's reading it, I have so much love for you, and I'm telling you this through expressing it with all my love, I. With all my love, I. We can test that out too to make sure that it's 5 syllables by doing this. With all my love, I. We see 5 sounds total, 5 breaths. The second sentence is a little bit longer, the second line in your haiku, so I want you to think of how it's going to connect to my first and how I can continue it on to finish out my poem. 3 lines can seem very easy, but it's also tricky to make sure you have a beginning, middle, and end. So for my second line, I'm going to connect it to my first sentence. With all my love, I wish you the best in your life. I'm going to try that and test it to see if it's 7 syllables. Wish you the best in life. With all my love, I wish you the best in life. Oh, I'm missing 1 syllable. I only have 6. Wish you the best in. I can add your. Before the word life, I can add your to add 1 more syllable to my second sentence. Let's try that one more time. Wish you the best in your life. That's 7, so it works out. Don't be afraid and don't worry about making a mistake in your sentence or in your poem at all. It's easy to go back and add or take away syllables and find different words to replace what you're trying to communicate. Like I said earlier, it's important to think out and plan out your poem to figure out the purpose and why are you writing this at all. So it'd be easier to replace, or like I just did, add another word if you know that you're just trying to communicate something to someone that you love. With all my love, I wish you the best in your life. I'm going to close out this haiku poem with an easy, simple, something that says something like, I love you so much. That's a very simple sentence, but it closes it out and it connects to my previous 2 sentences. So I'm going to close it with, I love you so much. And I'll test you all at home once I finish to see if it's 5 syllables. I love you so much. Let's test it. I love you so much. 5 syllables, that's perfect. My haiku altogether has 17 syllables. When we look at haikus and how it should be placed and how your body should feel and how when you're reading it, how you should be expressing it, it's not a poem that you read with all my love, I wish you the best in your life, I love you so much. It should be an inhale to an exhale throughout your whole poem. Think about that. It should be an inhale, and in one breath, that's when you release your poem. So let me try it. I'm going to inhale in 1. With all my love, I wish you the best in your life. I love you so much. Out. So think about that when you're writing your poem and how the transition and how it should feel when you're reading it through. I appreciate you all learning with me today. I really love haiku poems. I think it's a great way to quickly and simply do a fun project while expressing yourself in poetry. So think about what you want to write about, think about who you want to write to, and think about what you're trying to communicate in your haiku poem. Do some extra research and look into the history of Japanese culture and how important these writers and how other historical writers had an influence on haiku poetry and poetry in general. The more you learn about the past, the more equipped and the more successful you'll be in the future. So maybe you'll come up with your own kind of poetry one day. Thank you so much for joining me. Please join us for more classes at ymcasf.org/classrooms for all. I had such a great time and I hope we see you soon.
Did you know that YMCA of San Francisco never closed? When shelter-in-place happened, we could no longer provide in-person programming. We quickly shifted to provide youth and family programming virtually. As early as April, we started providing on-demand activities in our YMCA of San Francisco YouTube channel.
For this video, we're going to be making a geodesic dome.
Today, we're going to be making a hovercraft. The science around this activity is really awesome.
In addition, we have a regular schedule of activities for our youth and families to join live. We feature read-alouds, yoga, family Zumba, arts and crafts, drawing clubs, and more. So don't miss out on our virtual youth and family offerings. Visit www.ymcasf.org for more info and class schedules.